All right, I got that phone call. So, back to the Salt District real quick. So, the reason why I'm spending a little bit of time on this is because, in addition to there being a lot of independent projects that are happening in Syracuse, which they're massive projects. There's huge, right on Salina Street, our main street, big development projects in the theater, arts and in music, and even in restaurants that are incorporating dinner theater and things like that. So more and more independent spaces are opening and being invested in Syracuse. But this one from a comprehensive, sort of manner, a very holistic initiative where the university, its Office of Community Engagement, the art school, and a number of other partners had come together to sort of address poverty and lack of opportunity by developing this district. And so a lot of the groundwork has been developed for the listening and I think for the willingness to hear out the impacts of sort of widespread investment in developing buildings, neighborhoods, and entire communities around sort of the ethos of the arts and incorporating green technology, incorporating food security, social justice, and all of those things in cooperative neighborhood, sort of inspired development. So I actually, they were looking for a new director. I won't go into all the details of this, but I actually applied to become the director. And one of the things that I had sort of put forth, and the main thing I'll try to drive home in this video here is issues around gentrification and displacement. So what I really, really was pushing as a candidate here was for ownership of the development by folks that were in the community. So, not to say that a not-for-profit coming in and buying and developing these properties and allowing for programming and different opportunities for the community to take advantage isn't a good thing. But it's also, at the end of the day, they don't have any equity in that. They don't own any of the brick and mortar. They don't, they're not at the table making decisions as to what's going to happen next in terms of big money being spent or what have you. So, what I what I had put into play and recommended was that we look at something more like a cooperatively owned model where we could seed small business development, different alliances and cooperatives, different startups with community capital, and make sure that the folks that were investing in it, were decision makers and also being earning revenue if it was successful, being investors that were, not just rolling up their sleeves and helping out, but were also, just involved because they knew they had a vested interest. So, needless to say, I wasn't hired, but I, got to meet the folks that are now involved in the organization, and I do look forward to partnering with them in the future. And really quick, Mondragon, if you don't know anything about it, you got to learn about this. This is the future of where we need to go. The story here really is about a sort of this confederacy of cooperatively owned enterprises, and it goes back way back. And this was a very industrious area of the Basque Country in northern Spain that was hit hard by economic crises and downturn, sort of war era stuff. And they were sort of decimated, and a lot of the people who were kind of hardworking, blue collar folks who knew how to use their hands and build things, were kind of left to their own devices. So they came together and created a cooperative development model where all of their different businesses are owned by the workers, and even if you work for one company in the group, you are also an investor in others. So it's a bigger story. It's something that is worth exploring on your own. But they are operating in continents and countries all over the world, and as a matter of fact, are having a hard time breaking ground here in the United States. So they work in all kinds of sectors: automobile, electronics, housing, computers, you name it. These are tons of their flagships, and they are breaking ground here in the United States, but it's taking some time. But this is a model to follow, no matter what type of development we're doing. This sort of interdependent, cooperative model of economic and sort of business development is really something that we should be spending more time looking at. So where that all has come together in a way is in this concept I've been putting out for the past few years, which is a real estate investment cooperative focused on arts-based development called Crystal City Creative Spaces, developing art, culture, and community. So, I am gonna, because this is really about a teaser to get people interested and involved, and I can obviously post this information publicly and or share it privately. I won't spend too much time on it, but and you can always pause this video if you really want to stay on a slide or anything like that. So I'll kind of scroll as I talk. But the whole idea here really is to utilize the arts as a means of healing, as a means of feeling a paradigm shift, as a means of reinvigorating our community and finding joy and passion in what we do, and looking at the future and working together. So, we do have a lot of vacant buildings. We do have a lot of neighborhoods in need, and we have a lot of creatives. We can attract a lot of creatives. We just need to develop the infrastructure for them. So, this is multi-pronged. This isn't just high-end development. This isn't just, looking to build, multi-million-dollar theaters or complexes. This is about, really grassroots community development. This is about community participation. This is about, finding a new creative way, a new holistic, beautiful way in which we can sort of take the reins and begin to co-create, a beautiful community together. And again, the arts, it's a loosely used term. I'm not talking just painters and musicians and writers and actors and trapeze artists and things like that. But what I'm talking about is really, inviting the creativity from within all of us to come to the surface, because we're developing opportunities that are allowing for that and encouraging us to get outside the box. So at this juncture, I'll actually flip over to the next video.